Hello my scrappy friends and welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's Melinda Sweetman here with you for another share for Traci Reed Designs, and I am playing once again with the Jack Skelly collection in my mini album, and this is the second year that we did Halloween, so 2015, and I'm working on two pocket page protectors here. I've got one with 4 3x4s, so 4 on the front, 4 on the back, and one big 6x8. So I have printed journaling cards. If you've watched my other video, which I'll link up the top and down the bottom and in all the places, I mentioned that I like to print all of the pattern cards. It depends on the collection and how I'm feeling at the time, but I will normally print the 3x4s and the 6x4s. They're great for obviously pocket pages, but also for layering and all kinds of different fun things. So that's what I've got here. Once I had a basic idea of where I was working on this one, I then went in and I've created, so that label that I'm working on right there, I created in Photoshop. The label has the orange and black lines around the edge and the spider. I used one of the alphabets to pop the date on there. And then I printed that out because I was able to add the shadows in Photoshop and print it exactly as it was, and stuck that to the top left hand corner of that 3x4 journaling card. So that's from one of the journaling card packs. And so is the trick or treat card down the bottom right. So it's so cute, those guys are adorable. And I've printed those two cards, and the rest I think I'm using pattern papers. So you can see I've attached the label to my journaling card with the year. I've also, I cut the white border off the candy corns. I wanted to kind of replicate the candy corns from the bottom right with the spider web up to the top left where the label is. So that's why I've cut the white border off. I've then mounted my photos onto the patterns that I've chosen for this page, and the top right is obviously a photo of me with the little witch's hat on, and it says feeling witchy. And then this bottom one is a photo of the 4 of us. This year we had, I was a witch, my husband was a pirate, my eldest was a fairy princess, and my youngest was Batman. So I've just stuck that on. I've used a couple of the stickers. One says all dressed up, the other says so creepy, because again, if you watch my other video, I'm really pulling on the sarcasticness of the so creepy, scary vibe with these two cute little boys. That was so cute. So yeah, I just thought that would be fun. I wanted to do something to this 3x4 card, and I decided to doodle a border around, and I'm just using a black marker. I've done a double border around the 4 edges. And now I'm on to the back of this page protector. You can see I've got my 4 patterns. For the balance on this one, I went with 2 orange based patterns and 2 black based pattern papers behind my photos. And I've set those off on the diagonal. And I find that that's a good way to get pocket pages to kind of balance and not look really top heavy or bottom heavy. And I'm really happy with how this one came together. So this page is pretty straightforward. I mount my photos onto the journaling cards, which are all, so the pattern cards are all 3x4, my photos are all a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to use stars to decorate the 2 photos of my boys. And I think I just mount the photos on the other 2, I can't remember. So you can see I'm just sticking that right in the center, and I think calling it done. And then this one I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other photo, and I'm going to chop the white border off these stars, which I do not make you watch, and I'm going to stick 3 stars on here, just balance it out. And then I've got that diagonal from the top left to the bottom right of the page as well, so your eye just travels naturally across and down. So I'm going to stick my 3 stars here. And I've gone with patterns that kind of help balance each other, so none of them are really dark and heavy, and I feel like they work really well on these 2 photos. And I'm just going to chop off the extra on the edge there, and that one is done. Moving on to the last photo here, and just mounting that straight in the middle. So that is the back of that, the 3x4 pocket page. That's the front and the back done. I've just got to do the journaling on the front, which I do off camera. I'm pretty sure, I photograph it with the journaling on there. I'm just slipping those straight back into the pockets. And then I'm moving on to the 6x8. Oh, I'm going to show you this one first. So that's the first half of 2015. And then here, I mentioned, if you've watched my last video, I mentioned that somehow, without me even realizing it, this has become one of my favorite photos to get at Halloween. So here we are, the second year. My husband and my 2 little boys. Super cute. And I decided to make a bit of a feature of this one. And I've got, again, 3x4 cards here. So the 3x4 pattern cards. I've used one that's mostly white with the black spider webs as my first layer. And then I'm going to tear a couple of these other cards so that I get that interesting torn edge for a different finish. And I just have fun layering this one up. So I'm just going to lay these in a position that I'm happy with, having little angles just for a little bit of extra interest, and it is like a fun page. So yeah, I'm just keeping it fun. I do use my black soot distress oxide ink to ink the edges. I don't ink the edges on the torn edge, but I do ink the edges on everything else, including the 6x8 background pattern paper. But you can see I'm just layering these up here, just finding a place where I think they look good and just sticking them down, plonking them down. I did toy with the idea of adding this other black pattern, but I decided not to. I'm going to pop that aside. And then I found this frame. I thought it looked super cute, so I'm going to chop him in half, and I'm going to use that in 2 places. And funnily enough, I make sure that the placement is exactly right, and then I cover it up with my title. But that's okay. It's still a little bit of interest behind everything. So you can see I'm just layering that up, and I really like the way that kind of frames out all the rest of my layers. And that is the bulk of the embellishing for this page done. So you can see this is my title. Again, these are pieces from the digital kit that I've printed and cut, and I'm just toying with how I want them. You could see that I put them, I put my photo down and my title up, and very quickly went, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm trying to find a way that I don't cover up that frame, but I much prefer this. Yep, trick or treat, and I'm going to layer the trick or over the treat a little bit, I think. And I really like the way that these pieces layer really beautifully. Traci, as always, has done a fantastic job with that. I love them. I'm going to pop this up so that the photo is about in the top third. And then I've popped up, so the trick or has been stuck directly to whatever's behind it, and then the word treat has been popped up, so I'm going to layer that over the top a little bit, making sure that's straight. I also made sure that my photo was actually straight on the page, so that those angled pieces were not really weirdly angled, if that makes sense. I do play with a few bits and pieces to embellish here, but I love the different layers. I don't know if you noticed, but I was like flicking up the corners, and I do that more with some more of the pieces. I'm just going to add some staples, pop this up a little bit, and you can see I'm just curling the edges there. And then I realized I hadn't inked it up, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be like perfect, which is one of the, some of the fun of this. So I added this I want candy label. I curl up the edges, I grab my tiny attacher and staple it in place, and then I decide that I don't like it there. I decide I don't like it there because I end up bringing in black stars, and I feel like there's too much, like the black is too repetitive down the bottom there with the black label and then a black star. So that's why I changed it out. You can see me trying a different colour, and I don't think I try lots of different ones. I think I try a couple and then go, you know what, I want the black one there. I need to remove this label. So that's exactly what I do. Staples and all. Tried that one, but I end up picking a different one. You will see me pry this off, and I fought with it a little bit. It did not want to be removed from this page. There's my little staple remover. I did fight with it for a little while, but here I am. I've got it off. I've damaged the background a tiny bit, but it doesn't matter because I knew I was sticking something straight over the top. So I've got thrills and chills. Again, playing with that really kind of sarcastic thing happening. I really like it. It suits the way I tell stories, the way I look at life. Yeah. So I've stapled that on and then curled up the edges, and then I'm going to add in my stars. And I think that's just about everything for this. I'm just going to stick those down. But I feel like I add something else. I can't remember, and I only did this one the other day. Let's see, what do I do? Oh, that's right. I pulled in some puffy stickers. I've got these ones from Ellie's Studio. They are circles, hearts, and stars. And I've got, you can see I've got 2 sheets here, like rainbows of colours, which is super fun. I use orange, black, and grey. And I use like 1 orange circle, 1 orange star, 1 orange heart, and do that in with all 3 in 3 places. So you can see I'm just doing the top 2 here. You can't see what I'm doing down the bottom. I'm still, like I said in my other video, I can't remember which one, I'm just trying to get used to this really big glass mat and working out exactly where I need to be exactly where I need to be in the screen. So forgive me, but I'm just adding in those last little sprinkly bits, and that is all of these ones done. Like I said it in my last video, but I'm so enjoying playing with this collection. It's super fun. I'm loving walking down memory lane and seeing these cute photos of my boys, particularly because they're so big now, but you know, it happens. There are some close-ups here, obviously. Thank you as always for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me. If you have any questions at all, please drop them below. I'll make sure I link everything where I can. And as always, thanks so much for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me. See you next time.